Welcome! Today we are going to make a straight puff flower on this spot. I've already made my purple one and I have a video of making the purple one. So I'm going to make the teal one here because it's just a little bit smaller, so the finishing is a little bit different. You can see I have traced the outline here. You don't have to trace that. I traced it just because I like to see the end shape in my head. So if you haven't traced that, don't worry, you're not missing anything. I have 6 strands of 959 on my needle, and we're going to start with this bottom stripe as our first stitch. So I'm going to come up on one side and then down on the other, and then fix the knot first. All right, that's our last stitch. Now this stitch, you need to make sure it's big enough that you can get your needle in it. So I recommend not pulling, well, any of them tight, but especially this top one. It's small, so your needle will fit, but if you tighten it to the fabric too much, it'll be harder to work with. So we're gonna be working in 3s to make each puffy petal. So we're gonna start here at the top, and then we work our way down. So I'm gonna come up at the very tip of the flower, here above the line, and then this will be our first wrap. Wrap number 1, you come out to the side of the string, and then number 2, we go out to the other side of the string, our top string. Oh, caught on my needle minder, there we go. And then for 3, I'm going to come out to the side and move down a row. So now I'm coming out just below instead of through both. So that's 3 wraps right here. Now we're going to work from our second row to our third row. So I'm going to do 1 out to the side, then 2, and now 3. Instead of going out and down, we're going to go out and over. And I'm just gently pulling each time. If I pull tight, it'll start to make flat little stitches, and I want puffy big stitches. So now we're going to repeat over here. 1, 2, and then 3 is going to come out the bottom. Now, for this flower, we're going to be making 3 light on the edges, 3 rows, and then we're filling in the rest with our dark color. So I need to go down and make another puff here. This time 3 takes us all the way over here, and then I will put 3 wraps here, and I'm going to go into the fabric at the end. So I'm going to go down a little bit away from the edge because I know I need to have another petal here, so it's going to wrap around here. So I want to go down into the fabric a little bit away from the edge, and I'll anchor this off and trade to our darker teal, which is 3848. So I've changed to the dark teal, and I need to come up in between these 2 petals to then make a new petal in the center. So I'm going to separate these just a little bit so I can better see what I'm doing. And we're going to come up in the middle of that space, above the stitch that's right here. All right, so we're going to come here and we're going to make 3 wraps here. So we're going to make 1, and at this point it can be difficult to get your needle out without catching the stitches around. So what you can do to help alleviate some of that is you can flip your needle over and go through with the eye of the needle, because the eye of the needle isn't going to catch on anything. So this is 2. And then for 3, we are going to go down and out to either side. You pick. Now, we again are going to make 3 here, and then we'll talk about what happens in the middle. Okay, and then 3. 3 is going to come up in between these 2 petals here in the middle. Find a way for it to go out. What I'm doing from behind is I'm pushing my finger up right here behind the flower, and then I'm pushing the needle down, and that helps the tip point up and out and not get as caught. So here, we're just going to do 2 wraps because I don't want to make the petals in the middle too big because we only have 1 more row after this. So I'm going to have 1 here. We come up again at this spot. That makes us ready for wrap number 2. So I'm going to come out in between these 2 petals now. And we're making 2 wraps here, and then we're coming out on the side. And then we're going to make 3 wraps for this petal, and we're going to end by coming out of just the bottom. All right, and we're going to finish our last row by going down into the fabric instead of wrapping so that it finishes nice and tight to our stem here. So I'm going to make 1 stitch here, pulling down into the fabric, and then I'm going to need to sneak some of those stitches out of the way sometimes. So I'm coming up here, just like if I were wrapping around the foundation stitch. So this is 2, and then we'll make 3. Now we're going to make 3 3 petals on this last row. So I'm going to come up next in the middle here. Again, making sure to go over where that stitch line is. I'm loosening those so I don't pull too tight. I'm going to go above just a little bit, this petal. And now we finish by making a petal on this side. So I'm going to squish those out of the way so I can see where I'm going, and I'll make 3 stitches here. And there's our 3rd stitch. Then the final step here is we're just going to slide our needle under these stitches at the bottom especially, but even these middle ones. And we're just going to puff everything up a little bit and make sure that everything is sitting where we want it to. There are no weird threads. Like I caught this little thread, but I think I can coax it to sit here on that petal. And I want this middle one to be nice and puffy and fill up the space. So just kind of help coax it into the shape you want it to be. Just being sure to be gentle where you put your needle points so you don't catch any more threads. And you have finished your puff flower.